Hey fly tiers, welcome back. My name is Matt, and today I'm going to be tying another one of Charlie Craven's nymphs from his book Tying Nymphs. This one's the CDC Golden Stone. Actually, it's the one right there on the cover. So I love this fly. I've used it quite a bit in the last couple of years. It's done very well for me. It's not very difficult to tie. I think you're going to enjoy it, so stick around. So in the vise, I've got a size 12, 2x long barbless nymph hook. I'm going with a 2.8 millimeter tungsten bead. You could fit a 2.4 millimeter on here, but I like it with just a slight bit bigger of a bead. I'm going to lay down about 10 wraps of 015 weight. Now when you get that jammed up in there in the bead, take your yellow thread. I'm using 70 denier UTC. I'm going to lay a taper, a little ramp right here behind the weight, then cover some of the weight and then take it back to the bend of the hook. Okay, when you're happy enough with that thread base and your little taper there, grab some pheasant tail fibers. About 10 or 12, even the tips if you can. These aren't perfectly even, but they're close enough. So guidance is about half a body length. Since some of these are shorter, I'm going to go with that right there. I'll put a couple of wraps to get it semi-locked in. Check my position, make sure I'm where I want. Okay, that's pretty much on top of the center there. And then bury these in up to about two-thirds of the length of the body there. Don't want to crowd your eye too much. Okay, that's close enough. These things are starting to splay out all over on me. So I'm going to go ahead and snip these off. And I'm going to put my rib in next. So Charlie used 4X. Now I tried it with 4X and 5X. I think it looks slightly better with 5X clear monofilament here. So I'm going to catch that in on this close side here. Take it back here to the front of my tail where I'm going to start the body. Bring it back a couple turns. And we do have a little bit of flashback on this. Mirage tinsel. This is size large. You could go with a medium, but I think the large looks just a little bit better. So catch that in. Couple of wraps. Check your position. Are you centered on top? Because we're going to be folding this over the length of the body after we get the body on it. Okay, I'm happy enough with that. Now the body could be any kind of cream, yellow dubbing you'd like. I probably wouldn't do super fine because you want a little bit of bugginess to it. I've been going with rabbit and I think it looks pretty nice on here. Now it might take you to dub this 2/3 of the length of the fly. It might take a couple of noodles to put on here. I'm going to put the first one on and see how far that gets me. What's that? You want to hear some cool music while I do this in fast motion? Okay, I got a little bit of taper there, almost like football shape. Not always what I'm going for, but I will take it. Now fold over the Mirage tinsel, straight over the top. Put a couple of wraps to hold it in place. You don't have to secure it yet. That's what the rib is for. So check your position there. You like that? If you're happy enough with it, go ahead and snip that off a little bit. I don't snip it off too short yet because if I need to pull it tighter after this rib locks that down, I've got a little bit of room to do so. So counter wrap your nylon monofilament. On this size, probably 4, maybe 5 wraps. And that last one, I will put 2 turns just to make sure this mono doesn't unravel on me, because if it does, then you're kind of screwed. You have to go back to a start over point or leave it without a rib, which you don't really want to do. It would not be that durable. So go ahead and snip that off. Now we can take our tinsel off. And the next component is CDC. So tan CDC, grab a mid-size feather, maybe a medium size here. I will create a little tie-in point right there. You want the concave side toward the hook. It's CDC. It's going to go all over the place in a minute anyway, but that's what Charlie says, and he's pretty much a master fly tyer, so what I read in his books, I listen to. So snip that off. Again, you probably don't have to, but hey, why not? Wet your fingers if you want. We're going to do 2 turns of this. Grab your hackle pliers if you need to, but I've got about 1.5 inches of feather here, so I think I can do this with my fingers. There's my second turn right there. Let's see, zigzag that through a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and clip this excess off right here. Still pretty buggy, but that's the intent of the fly. So pull these back and make a couple wraps going back just to hold them in place and get you a better tie-in point for the soft hackle, which in this fly is either going to be a brown or a dun. I've got a medium brown right here. I'm going to tie it in tip first. So create a little V notch right there. Concave side toward the hook shank again. 2 turns, fold it back on itself, 2 turns. You'll definitely want to clip this thing right here before you wrap it. Now I've got plenty of feather to grab right here, so pull these back. We're going to do 2 wraps of this one. Pull these back if you can. That's the first wrap. The second wrap right in front of the first. Now catch that in. It's going to look a little buggy for a minute, but I'll show you how we're going to clean it up. So go ahead and snip that excess off. I'm going to do one more lock and wrap before I pull these back. So pull these back here exactly like you did with the CDC. And we're almost to the cleanup point, not just yet. What we want to do is put the smallest bit of that same dubbing on here. If you have to ask yourself, is that too much dubbing? The answer is probably yes. So almost just painting the thread here for about 1 inch. It's going to give us maybe 3 wraps with dubbing on it. 1, 2, and 3. We'll call that good, and a couple more wraps right there to lock it. And a whip finish, and then I'll show you what I do to clean this thing up. No head cement on this. I guess you could put a drop on the bead and let it soak down in there to it. I haven't been. I've just been doing 1 or 2 whip finishes and calling it done. Now, don't trim your CDC with your scissors. You can, of course. Fly tying police are not going to come and get you in trouble. But I just break them. I just pinch them and break them. Any of that are straggly or way too long, just, pinch them, pull them. Got a couple little rabbit hairs sticking out there too. You might want to trim those with your scissors. But there you go. Charlie Craven's version of the CDC Golden Stone. I love this fly. It's done very well for me here in Maryland and Virginia. So I hope you'll give it a try if you haven't already. Thanks again, folks. I appreciate you watching. We'll see you next time.